Hey all, this is Matteo Ariento. Um, I'm recording my first vlog, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is the election that we just had. The first thing I'm going to talk about right now is that the results of this election were very obvious. Um, the Even back in June, when we had the primaries and everything, all everyone was talking about was whoever wins the Democratic election primary wins the election. And guess what? That's true. The thing about it is that when the primary started, everyone knew that no matter who won the Democratic Party, won the election because everyone was afraid of a new George W. Bush. That's just a fact. You can't argue that. So when they did start the primaries, the Republicans first started thinking, well, who can we put up that might be able to keep the Republican Party in office? And look who they pick. They pick John McCain, the Maverick, the guy who they wanted to boost as not going to be George W. Bush, but they're going to be someone who can go to the left and the right. And a lot of people didn't buy into it because in the beginning of the primaries, in order to win, he had to appeal to the conservative base. And when he did that, everyone in the Democratic Party was going, look, he's not a maverick anymore. We can't vote for him. And that was the point of why they were going to put John McCain in there. Now, people like Ron Paul and Mike Huckabee, they tried to get the party by saying, look, John McCain's going to be a maverick. We're going to be Republican. We're going to rebuild our party. But a lot of the superdelegates in that party knew that if they chose them, besides Ron Paul or maybe Bob Barr or Chuck Baldwin, but I don't think Chuck Baldwin was in the Republican Party, they knew that if they chose someone like Mike Huckabee or Mitt Romney, that everyone in the Democratic Party is going to say, new George Bush, don't vote. And they couldn't have that, so they had to choose someone like John McCain who could appeal to them. Now, then they go and choose Palin as his running mate to A, because she's a woman, and let's not deny that. The fact that she was a woman, because they could have chosen someone like Huckabee, and that would have been the same thing. As the number two thing, she's more conservative than McCain was, to appeal, to keep the conservative party on his side, and also start bringing in someone from some of the other side. But the fact that it was a woman who stood for conservative ideals such as no abortion and anti-gay rights, that hurt them more than it helped them, because everyone in the Democratic side is going, how can a woman go and say, I'm going to stop women's rights? That's pretty much what they said, because the women's rights movement pushed for abortion, and then the woman vice president was going to eliminate it. They couldn't have that. But either way, when they tried to push for it, they knew that their possibility of them winning was very slim, and the only people they could appeal to were those in the South and maybe the West, and they tried Pennsylvania, but it didn't work. Now, the fact is, you can look at the primaries to see, well, look, whoever wins the Democratic Party wins the election. And what happened with Obama and Hillary was that it went so long because they were trying to win, because they knew that if they won, then it was easy sailing from there into November 4th. So they tried their best to keep going, but in the end, it was Obama that came on top for many reasons. And it was the fact that the Democratic Party decided, well, how far left can we push before we're going too far and we give some up to the Republicans. And Hillary was the one who kept saying universal health care. Obama was saying semi-universal health care. Like, if you have health care, you're not affected. But if you don't, then you get health care from us. That's his plan. So when they started doing stuff like that, it started going to well, we can either have the first women president or the first African-American president, and the first woman president will be the most left out of anyone, whereas the African-American president appeal to a lot of people. And so they chose Obama for the fact that he was more moderate and he could appeal to the more amount of people than Hillary could. Because if Hillary could appeal to women and the far left and some moderates, a lot of people in the Democratic Party were saying, well, we can't have universal health care. That's against American ideals. And besides that, there's really nothing much of a recap except the debates sealed Obama's victory because McCain kept looking like an old man, and Palin was crushed in her debate because she confirmed the fact that she didn't have a lot of experience. And I'm not saying that she was a bad person or anything. It's just that, when they brought up a lot of stuff about foreign policy, she kept more going towards looking good than keeping her answers correct. And in a debate, that's not what's supposed to be. So I can see how after the primaries were settled, there was nothing really except Obama was sealed to win. Biden and everything like Jeremiah Wright just kind of brought drama into it, but everyone knew that it was Obama that was going to win anyway because he was appealing to everyone because of George W. Bush. Now, my thoughts on this I'm going to say about up next.